Glory America, bonjour, hi Canada. Hugh Hewitt, thank you for joining me on this Monday, May 4th, 2020, in the year of the plague. 68,286 Americans have died, according to one number. The CDC says 65,735 from the virus. 1,122,000 cases in the United States. That's quite a lot. Worldwide, we have 3.51 million cases outside of China. We know nothing of what's going inside of China. They have been revealed over the weekend to really have been a bad actor in this, not only in their negligence in allowing to escape, but in their apparent willingness to see it spread. That goes from negligence to willfulness and raises the stakes dramatically. This next election is going to be about whether or not you are serious about China, because the Democrats are not. And they are the number one adversary of the United States and will be for the forthcoming future. We know that we know a few things now, and the CDC's website's getting better and better and better every week. We know that for every 100,000 cases of COVID, right? So 100,000 people get it, 40 people end up in the hospital. Now, that's dramatically higher for people who are 65 years and older. For every 100,000 cases of people over 65 who get it, 131 people end up in the hospital. If you're over 50, 63% of you end up in the hospital. And the reason for that is the older you are, the likely you are to get hypertension or to be obese. And the comorbidity of hypertension, high blood pressure, and obesity is extraordinary. 57% of people with COVID who die have hypertension. Half of the people who die with COVID are obese. So lose the weight, take your blood pressure medication, get some exercise. Number one. Children being hospitalized is next to nothing. There may be a handful of cases across the United States, but it's just, thank God, it is not attacking children. It is far worse than the flu. I have begun to think about it like a gunshot. Now, gunshot fatalities are only 30 to 35,000 a year, only being in quotes. It's like car accidents. You don't want to be in a car accident. You don't want to be shot by a gun, and you don't want to have COVID. A lot of people survive most car accidents and aren't even injured. Most gunshots, though, inflict a lot of pain, and most COVID cases inflict a lot of pain, but they don't normally kill you. And you can work with these analogies and tell me what you think. But I am curious again to hear from doctors, because the anecdotal evidence of the disease is really alarming. I read anecdotes all weekend long from ER physicians, nurses, the children of doctors, and they tell horrific stories of people in the ICU, because it's a savage disease when it gets a hold of you. But how many people does it get a hold of? And I was beginning to think we're going to have to dial up the dimmer much quicker. But then I read these anecdotes and I think, I just don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. President was on Fox doing a town hall last night, and he wanted to tell people where we are going. I like this quote, number 11.
But no, we have to get our life back. We have to get our country back. We have to get the world back. We want to have, if we have a stadium in Alabama that holds 110,000 people against LSU, I went there. We want to have 110,000. We don't want to have 25,000 people or 40,000 people, and that'll happen. Maybe it's going to be a vaccine, or maybe it's going to be that this virus will pass. It will go. Will it come back? It might. It could. Some people say yes, but it will pass.
It will pass. So that is the number one thing to fix on. This may be here for another year and a half at the outside before we figure it out. But to me, what is most important, and I would welcome doctors, 1-800-520-1234, 1-800-520-1234. I would love to hear what doctors are seeing. The doctors that I talked to on Friday aren't seeing anything because they're not working much. And the president said last night, we've got to get elective surgeries back. The thing that went wild last night was his comment about Lincoln. Of course, it's being distorted. Absolutely being distorted. And I'll play it for you, then I'll tell you what happened. Cut number 8. This is the president last night at the Lincoln Memorial Town Hall.
I am greeted with a hostile press, the likes of which no president has ever seen. The closest would be that gentleman right up there. They always said Lincoln. Nobody got treated worse than Lincoln. I believe I am treated worse. You're there.
Stop right
you
there.
see the.
Then, of course, the left-wing nutters on Twitter, and you really have to be a nutter to take this out of context. He wasn't talking about the assassination. He was talking about Lincoln's press. And objectively, the amount and volume and number of media. Okay, so I saw a lot of smart. I'll read a Wikipedia quote about Lincoln press. They haven't studied Lincoln. Lincoln had terrible press. The South hated him because he was freeing African Americans. He was going to break up the Union once they seceded. He was going to force them back. Once they broke up the Union, he was forcing them back. So he was hated. And his press was bad, but it wasn't as bad as Trump's, and it wasn't as bad as Nixon's because it wasn't as big, and it wasn't as rapid, and it wasn't as omnipresent. But they tried. I mean, the left wing is nuts in this country. They tried to say that Trump said he was treated worse than Lincoln. Ha, 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 Lincoln was assassinated. You know how that ended? Just stupid. Just stupid in the middle of a national crisis that was caused by China. All right? The most important thing the president said last night is that he didn't quite say it. There's a case to be made, he began to say. And Dwayne, I got to have you look for that for me so I don't spend time going through all these. There's a case to be made that China knew what it had. And the president implied, and they let it get out just to make sure they weren't at a competitive disadvantage. Wow. Wow. Now, I want to tell you two things. I have a brand new column up on the award. It happened Friday after the show of the new American Navy frigate. It's going to Wisconsin, and it's great. They ordered 10 of them. My new column is the president ought to quintuple the order and triple the shipyard. Just like we did in World War II times 10. In World War II, they would order, 200 ships, 250 ships at a blow. Here, let's order 50, Mr. President. Let's get going. That's got, 600 comments already. It went up late last night, and I guess they must all be applauding. But what I really want to tell you about is that some of you had asked me, what about Angel Tree? What about the summer camps? We send the child of a man or a woman in jail to summer camp every year. Are you doing it this year? Look, I know that many of you love to support these kids by sending them to camp, but I want you to listen. We have a major challenge on our hands. There aren't going to be camps this year, but all those kids are still at home. They often do not have what you've got, Netflix or Amazon Prime or places to walk. They got a mom or a dad in prison. They're in rough neighborhoods. There are gangs and drugs and other dangers. I would like to enlist every one of you to help these precious kids by sending them a Angel Tree care package. This is different. You can't go to camp this summer. We'll take them to camp next summer. But we want to say we know you're there. Prison Fellowship's Jim Forbes says each prisoner's child has been selected based on needs.
Kids all over the country, all 50 states, who their parent, while in prison, said, I really want to help the relationship, my son or daughter, and I'd like to give them a gift. So the kid receives the gift, and it doesn't say from Prison Fellowship. It says from mom or dad.
Oh, we need $200 per giver. $200 will bless an at-risk boy or girl with a very special Angel Tree care package. $150 in grocery gift cards, their choice of sports equipment, basketball, soccer ball, an age-appropriate Bible, like Zondervan's Pathlight Camper's Bible, some Bible study aids, a note of encouragement. Will you please stand with us again this year? We can't send them to camp, but we can't send them a package from their mom or dad. Cost $200. Will you help provide that special summer care package from our friends at Prison Fellowship's Angel Tree? You can go to HughHewitt.com. It's at the very top. You've been asking me, when are we going to start the campaign? Well, today. Angel Tree care packages. The banner is at the top of HughHewitt.com. We do it every summer. This year, we're sending them a special gift from their mom or their dad. Please help us do that. The banner is at the top of HughHewitt.com.